This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Welcome, everyone. Today is Tuesday, December 12th, and it is 6:11 p.m., and it is the Affordable and Fair Housing Partnership. Thank you for your patience as we figured out what to do. Okay, Jackie's going to take minutes. So present in the room is Ben and me, and then for guests, it's Jess Allen, Lindsay Rothschild, and Counselor Connie Denham. All right, great. Oh, actually, now you can see them all. Okay, so we sent out the minutes for September and November. Did anyone have a chance to look at them? Have any notes, comments, edits, feelings? Okay, do we want to take a motion to approve them?
Sure, I move.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes.
You want a second?
Second that, yeah.
All right.
I will say I wasn't here for the November meeting, but I appreciated reading the minutes.
All right, approved. Great, thank you.
No,
So
we didn't vote. We just made a motion.
Oh, sorry. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me of. I actually don't have the agenda up in front of me, but I think what else is on the agenda? I think it's just zoning, right?
Mhm.
My phone. Oh.
Yeah, that's the next item.
All right. So great. Thank you. Okay. So we had agreed last meeting to use this meeting to talk about zoning. Counselor Denham is joining us because she's interested in what we are talking about regarding potential zoning changes. So Jamie had prepared this long document of various zoning things related to the things that we had talked about before, which, if I recall, had to do with single family zoning, the 18 unit cap per building, and the term community character and or such statements that exist in the zoning. I think those were the three things that we were going to focus on. Does anyone have anything else we wanted to look at that I don't remember?
I was interested in like lot area minimum size requirements, frontage, like setback stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually there was an interesting publication that I think Jamie sent out, or it was like part of one of the zoning for equity workshops. They produced, I think it was like American Planning Association produced this like sort of white paper that gave a few different, I guess, top level things that we can do. And I took a bunch of them that applied to what I thought applied to Easthampton, and a lot of them were what we were already talking about. But one of them was that reducing lot size and setback stuff, and also potentially establishing more mixed uses. So like I just had sort of an inkling of potentially looking at the table of uses for like small commercial grocery stores and convenience stores to see what if it would be possible for that kind of thing in like R35, R40. But yeah.
Great. Anyone else have yeah, go ahead, Ben.
I had one other, it's kind of related to the first thing you said, but one other idea that I've heard kicked around was like having single family as a category, duplex as a category, but then adding triplex as a category to kind of separate that out from multifamily dwellings.
Okay.
Because those are, I think in a lot of cases, those can be permitted in a similar way as a duplex, without rising to the multifamily dwelling level. Just
Okay.
a thought, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested in lot frontage as well, and Then it's 100 feet frontage now for a new building, so that's something.
Great. I'm interested in all of those things. I'm also interested in the community character piece.
Yeah, definitely.
And also like, just like how not only does it inconsistent, it's like inconsistently refers to community character it's like many, many different ways. Hi, Shira.
Just at the table.
So how do we, so Counselor Denham is here because obviously we will need city council, like, sponsorship, right? If whatever we pick and we want to move forward with. How do you want to tackle this? Do we want to pick one? Do we want to pick more than one? We're talking about zoning.
When the body's open.
I was gonna say maybe as a way to start, could we maybe talk about what's the process for zoning changes?
That's a great question.
Just to kind of know where we are now and where do we need to, what are the steps?
Who knows the answer to this question?
So go ahead. If I remember correctly, I could be wrong. My understanding is that you have to propose this to the planning board. Planning board's got to have a public hearing. Usually ordinance and planning board have a joint public hearing to kind of expedite the process. Does that still happen?
I think so. I'm not on ordinance, but I know they've had joint meetings with.
Yep. So they generally try to expedite it a little bit in that public hearing process. If it moves forward, then it gets presented to council. Council then takes it as a whole. Connie can then talk about council process. Takes it as a whole, gets kicked to subcommittee, goes back to council for a full vote.
Right.
And you need a 2/3 majority vote. I'm guessing, but the housing zoning choice, the housing law, zoning has changed with the new housing laws. So you may not need a 2/3 majority vote, is my point. I don't remember what things need a full 2/3 and what don't, but things have changed.
So ordinance though, ordinance and planning board holds a joint committee, and then if it gets public hearing, if that gets moved forward, it goes to council and then goes back to ordinance.
That's the part I'm not sure if they've already had a joint meeting, but I'm not on ordinance, so I'm not quite sure of that process, but I know they'll hold joint meetings together.
Do they maybe like approve it to move forward and then they actually approve it at the end?
Maybe. Who's on ordinance?
Salem. Yeah, so I'm not on ordinance. So I'm not sure.
Right.
Okay, I mean, that's enough of an
helps.
overview, yeah. I guess I'm also wondering, like, do we put forth like a memo or like a kind of like proposal type thing, or is it just like, we're gonna scratch this out?
I would think the more detailed we are, the more easier it will be for them to understand what we're asking for.
Okay, gotcha, that makes sense.
Do we need so when it goes to the planning board, do we need, I guess counselors wouldn't come support it at the planning board. It would wait till it goes to city council.
Support it anywhere along the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's good to show all along the pipeline.
Okay.
So the ordinance, planning board. and
Like
then-
planning board ordinance simultaneously,
Yeah, I think
which is a little,
co-meetings.
I think the confusing part, but then it would go to council, then council kicks it to subcommittee, which would be ordinance, and then back to council, and then it would get voted. I think. Okay. Well, that's helpful.
Yeah,
And I assume like we would have to like propose it to the planning board. We would have to tell them what it is, and then they would at a later date schedule a public hearing. Anybody?
So I think typically, in my experience, is that there's been a memo that comes from the committee or any petitioner. It goes to the planning board. The planning board then discusses next steps on how to move forward. So
Okay.
you would want to put like a packet together.
Okay.
And then submit it to planning board, and then like planning board then goes through that process.
Okay.
I assume they need to like support it.
Right.
They have to vote it forward.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Okay. I mean, I think that whatever we do is going to take us a little while, so we're probably looking at like this taking us, I think, would at least the first 6 months of 2024. So, because this is a hard document to digest, in my opinion, like because it references back other things, and so I feel like, you know, I think, you know, we would want to make sure that we're catching in all the things in all the places.
Can I add one more thing to your list of things for the committee to
Yes.
think about?
Yes.
Is making sure that the requirements for tenants meet fair housing laws. I'm seeing a lot of stuff
Oh.
in here that's requiring either additional stuff or really stuff that the city shouldn't, it's not their business.
Like you can't currently own a home.
I mean, that's totally against fair housing lottery
Yeah.
process. It's not relevant.
I noticed that also.
It
It comes in
It's a couple of places.
couple-
I see it in,
A13 target population for affordable
yeah,
housing.
and then there's also that language about housing it's not even highlighted in paragraph A, where it says housing costs for affordable housing units shall be calculated based on the current available mortgage interest rates, a 30-year mortgage term, and 10% down payment. It is nobody's business how much somebody puts down for down payment. And there's a lot of first-time home buyer programs that are going to be not on the standard mortgage rate. They're going to be a lower percentage because that's what those programs are designed for.
What page does that start?
It's on 813. It's 8.3.44.
Also, in terms of the process,
Yeah.
the proposal can first go to council, then it goes to ordinance, then it goes to a joint committee.
Yeah.
And then it would go back to council for approval.
Wait, sorry, say it again.
It'll first go to council,
Okay.
then it'll go to ordinance,
Yep.
and then it'll go to a joint committee with the planning board,
Oh.
and then it'll go back to council.
Council.
Like subcommittee, like
Yeah.
With ordinance and the planning board.
Okay, so it starts with council.
Mhm.
Okay.
So it can't, I think there's two ways of doing it, but
The way it's
that might be the most logical.
okay.
I guess the question is this body eligible to like submit a zoning?
Anybody
Okay.
can.
Oh, yeah. And plus, as council, we would look to
Right.
your guidance, right? Your expertise,
Yeah.
right? Since you're the housing partnership, right? To put those forward.
Okay. All right. Thank you for, yes, I did notice that, Jess, is particularly like you can't.
There's a local preference language in here, which I was not aware of.
Well,
Well, it says
to the extent legally permissible.
preference for 70% of the affordable units within the Belleville should be given to eligible for either city residents, persons who work within the city, or persons with a child or children in the Easthampton public school system. That's local preference.
Which is,
It's allowed and
It's-
legal, but only through the 40B process.
oh, not just in all other affordable housing.
No, it's really only allowed in 40B.
Okay.
To the extent legally permissible. I guess that's
the key, but I think we could clean it up. I mean,
Yes.
Are you
yes.
sure?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
What page is that on?
A13. Yeah, okay. So back to my earlier question. No. How no? Where do we want? How do we want to start? Like, do we want to break this up so members each look at specific things? I mean, it feels like some of these are sort of easy, right? So, looking to make sure that that the tenant requirements like don't violate current state restrictions. I mean, we talked about the 18 unit per building cap and how that's an arbitrary number.
Mhm.
And one suggestion could be just to take out the cap and say like as financially feasible to the development. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to build a 50-story building in East
Oh, right,
Hampton,
there's
but
still,
There's still,
height
yeah.
restrictions.
yeah,
Still
there's still
height
height.
restrictions.
Oh, because there's a height restriction, right? So the
So,
18 unit
yeah.
cap like doesn't really mean anything
So
because
when
there's
we're
still.
looking at a piece of land as a developer, we're looking at lot size because we care about stormwater, because we have to meet stormwater regs, and we care about parking because we have to be able to meet the parking requirements unless we're asking for a waiver, which doesn't leave a lot of land left for a building. So being able to go up is the best option. And I think, as I explained before, you can't even qualify for low income housing tax credits unless you have 20 units or more. So to have an 18 unit cap means that you're forcing a developer to build 18 buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An affordable housing developer.
Yeah.
Right,
And I have a very slanted different view than private market rate developer, so.
So one way to tackle this is to divide. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 categories: minimum lot area and setbacks, the 18 unit cap, single family zoning, duplex, triplex as a category separate from multifamily, community character, and the tenant requirements. We could divide them up and everybody look at those specific sections before next meeting, or we could tackle one at a time as a group.
And we also have like fact checking.
Uh.
Like what Jess was saying.
About the
About-
tenant requirements.
Yeah, like we're gonna need somebody, I don't know if we want to do like a dedicated person who's responsible for like looking to see what is and is not aligned with laws and regulations.
Well, I kind of had that as the 5th category, like fair housing.
Mm.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
Like,
Okay,
yeah.
I thought you meant like that was like a heading from the pages.
No, wouldn't that be nice? No, the problem with it is it's like each section has its like all its own requirements,
Yeah.
which yeah. Or we could either break it up or tackle one at a time.
You mean break it up by like subheading?
Like I'm most interested in community character, so I will pull out all the sections that say community character and come up with a proposal.
Okay.
Ben's interested in the triplex as a separate or whatever. I'm just making that up. Like, or so we could each divide it up by like what we're interested in,
Okay.
or we could go one by one through the document as a group.
No, I think we start with the breaking up.
Yeah.
And then when we meet again, then we can go through together. Or we can share an email and,
Yeah.
bring our ideas to the subsequent meeting.
So put that document in like a Google Doc, and then depending on your,
Smart.
Yeah,
whatever you're
the comments
interested
on the
in,
side.
then you add your track changes or whatever, right?
Or just comment.
Comments on the side, yeah.
And then you add your comments or whatever, yeah.
Do we have like a Google Drive?
No,
We should. I'll do that.
we can.
What?
Oh, no, the city of.
The city loves Google.
Mhm.
I'm like not allowed to use it at work, but city loves Google. We could put it in a Google. I mean, this is a PDF, but I can convert it into a document.
My only concern would be running afoul of open meeting law. Like if that counts as deliberation.
That is true, but,
No. Using the Google Doc, you mean, Kayam?
Yeah, like commenting in line.
Oh, geez.
Well, yeah. We're not commenting on each other's comments. Is it communication? Really?
I don't know.
That's a good point. If we comment back and forth, that would be deliberation.
yeah, I think that we did not comment on the document because of that.
Yeah, well, it's
reason in
safer
order
for
to make-
everyone to just do their own thing. and
Yeah.
Talk about it at the next meeting.
But I just wanted to add to with the Google Drive, you don't have to convert it to a doc. You can just comment on the PDF itself. So,
Oh.
yeah. But, maybe if you each took I'm not very, maybe if you each said I should organize things a lot. If you each take a section in that group, that person just leads that meeting and then everyone does it together. But
Yeah.
they'll just kind of like lead the charge.
Right.
That's probably a safer way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can still convert this out of a PDF if that's helpful for folks. I think we should use track changes, any changes that we make, but that might be, we can each have our own document that we're making the changes in, so we're not deliberating, but I mean, that might, I would probably prefer that than commenting on the PDF, but
We could do that, and then Word, I don't think Google Docs does it, but I know Word has a like merge all documents thing, and so like once we're all done with our track changes, we can all send them to you, or I could do it if you wanted. I mean, you can merge them all and see everybody's changes.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so then we could do that in the open meeting,
Right.
and see, and it'll
Oh.
say like, you know, JT and LR on it. Does that help?
all right, that would be good. I think it would be good at some point. At some point you have to get everybody in the everybody's in one document. Otherwise Jamie will kill me if I'm like, here's 5 documents with all of our changes.
Right. Yeah, and I've learned that like from editing experience too, and I've run into that. And they've been like, why are you guys handing me all these different documents?
Yeah.
Can you just merge them for me? Thank you.
So it would be a violation if you had a quorum.
Yeah, and then the one thing Google Doc.
So if we were all commenting as a,
But you could have pairs
you-
doing it.
If you had a quorum, so I don't know I can't remember what the quorum is for this, but let's say you just had 4 people and you got a quorum is 5, but you just had 4 people who were working on it, then that would not be a quorum and that would not be a violation of open meeting.
but if we were all working on it,
But if you were all working on it and that exceeded your quorum, then
Yeah.
it would be a violation of open meeting.
You
law.
could have 2. Who's your 2 halves?
so I think it's safer to not use the same document for our initial beginning so that we don't violate open meeting law. I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Especially since we're deliberating about this in a recorded meeting.
All time.
And this is not, just so we're all clear, this is not the entire zoning. This is like a
Right.
subsection that Jamie pulled out. Let's not, is it in order? It's not in order. It jumps to, no, maybe it is. Right?
I think it's in order. There's chunks of it.
Right. Okay, there are chunks missing. Okay. So feels like a daunting task. Well, who wants to work on what?
You go over that one
Yeah.
more time, okay?
Okay, minimum lot area setbacks. Right, Cayenne, was that it? Minimum lot area and setbacks? Frontage.
Yeah, I mean, just the table of area regulations, I guess, versus like the table of use regulations.
This is like 5.2 that you're looking at?
Yeah.
Okay. The 18 unit cap per building, which I don't remember where that shows up.
Or wait, no, I'm actually talking about 6.1, not 5.2.
Oh, 6.1, okay.
It's an 8.32, and that's no requirement.
8.32, and this is 6.2. All right. The,
Jan, I'm sorry, can you name the topics again?
yes, minimum, okay, sorry. It's the minimum lot area and setbacks, which is the table of use regulations. Right? Am I saying this right? Am I like, losing my mind, Cayenne? Correct me.
It's table of area regulations, I'm pretty sure.
Conventional standard.
Table of
It
area.
looks like on table
So
9.1.
it's table 6.1.
What about
Oh, table 6.1, not page 6.1. Okay. Table,
Table 6.1 now is,
You might not have that in there.
no, I'm looking at, it's
Is it-
table 9.1, I think. Area regulations, okay, that's, oh, never mind, that's open space. So it looks just like that, but it's not open space.
Yeah, I think the printout
Doesn't include
Jamie
that.
gave us didn't include that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
All right, so table 6.1.
Yeah.
All right.
That's another interest, yeah.
The requirement in the multifamily zoning for 18 units per building, which is section 8.32. I think that's what Jess just said. Yes, it's 8.32. It says the maximum number of dwelling units per structure shall be 18 with the condition in the R15 and R35 that the minimum yard setbacks be increased to 50 feet if the structure contains over 6 units.
Okay.
And then in the mixed use mill industrial, the planning board by special permit may allow greater number of units.
Might be interesting for that one to see like if any other towns have limits like that as like kind of just because
Oh,
like
yeah.
just to see like I know Amherst having a very one too. And just to kind of see what the cap is, if there's a cap and what the cap is, and see why if there's a reason why.
I mean, it seems at a minimum, it should be 20 if that matches the low income housing tax credit
Yeah.
requirement.
And the land is gonna tell you what.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
for the most,
It
yeah,
really
for the
is
most- yeah,
none of the town.
yeah, for the most part, it's, yeah.
It's very strange. When I was discussing with Frank, a few weeks ago too, he was like, it's the weirdest number and it makes no sense. And I was like, well, if we were considering trying to change that, what would you recommend? And he immediately, without even thinking, he was like 24.
Hmm.
And he says, that's when the square footage, the like cost per square foot flattens out at 24
So you have
units.
elevators, so you have
Mhm.
elevators, maintenance, the cost of the elevator, all the common spaces, all of that stuff feeds into the cost of building it.
Mhm.
So the more units you can put in there, the better your operations will be.
Right.
More than-
You have to do an elevator inspection no matter how many units you have, and that cost does not change.
Okay. So on the single family duplex, triplex, I feel like we should narrow this down because the original conversation was like, let's get rid of single family zoning, which feels like might be difficult.
Also,
So
yeah.
what if we, so to go pivot to your suggestion, Ben, is looking at triplex as a category separate from multifamily.
Well, I guess when you say get rid of single family zoning, it's that just means allowing duplexes
By right.
everywhere. Okay.
Yes.
So that's one thing, and then the triplex thing is a second thing.
Yeah.
You need to put a sprinkler in a triplex.
I don't know, developer. What do you need to put sprinkler in triplex?
I don't remember if it's 3 units or 4 units. I think
Oh.
it's sprinkler. I'm thinking more on
No,
the
totally,
financial
yeah.
market
Yeah.
side,
Yeah.
you know. Again, it's an added.
Yeah,
cost
yeah,
to the
yeah.
Developer, so
Yeah.
if you can build duplexes
Mm-hmm.
and not put in a sprinkler, that's a more financially viable
Yeah, yeah.
thing to do than
Okay.
triplexes.
We
But
could
you
look
should make
into-
you should make everything easier.
Mhm.
What was changed in zoning? I thought we did make it easier for multifamilies when we did the ADU. Wasn't there something?
Well,
at the same
you
time
could
that-
do ADU by,
Right, but
by-
I thought there was something with the multis at the same time that we did that. Huh?
did it have to do with parking? Was there a change to the parking requirements
I thought there
for
was-
multi?
There was something we were working on, because I remember thinking that
Mhm.
we were gonna,
This table was amended in 2021. It allowed accessory dwelling units by right everywhere, but I don't see. The last change was. What's footnote number 9? Multifamily dwellings with affordable housing are allowed in the DB district.
I think it's the building code in Mass requires sprinklers for 3 families, not 2 or less.
Okay.
They constructed dwellings.
So it would trigger sprinklers, but it doesn't mean we can't, just saying by right doesn't mean that like you have to build a triplex on every lot. It just means you could
Right.
if you wanted to.
It's just that the zoning and the market conditions should be a little bit more aligned, and that's in every community. It's not just like an East Hampton thing, but understanding what drives the market will reflect how your zoning is utilized.
Yeah.
There are sections of the zoning that I don't think have ever been used. Like, those ones towards the end there, the PUD, where is it? It's the ones towards the end there.
Like open space, right? Yeah.
I think open space definitely
Okay,
has,
yeah.
but, the planned unit development for mixed uses, I don't think it's ever been used.
Mhm.
So I think that's a question for the community is there are sections of the zoning that are 25, 30 years old that no developer has ever utilized.
Mhm.
So there's a reason for that. And there's a reason why community builders have to get a 40B. It's because the unit count is bigger than, is more than 18 units. So really trying to understand sort of the financial side a little bit more and the market conditions and how that is reflected in the zoning will make some of these sections of the zoning more usable for developers. That's just like a big picture sort of.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's not just an example thing.
All right, so what do we want to do about the duplex, triplex? I mean, we could keep it like,
I'm happy to look into it.
all right, Ben's doing that. Who's interested in the 18 units per building? Okay, sure. Kai, I might put you on table 6.1.
You've been voluntold,
I'm interested in the community character one piece. And then, and anyone else is also together. And then there's the fair housing law tenant stuff that has it's just like sprinkled in strangely, which I'm happy to look at, but if anyone else is interested in that.
So I find
Shira, did you claim something?
Shira claimed 18 units. Oh yeah, Jack, you didn't claim anything. Would you like to do tenant requirements in fair housing?
I can try.
I can work with you on that, Jana. I mean, Jana. Jackie.
On which one was that?
The fair housing stuff.
Oh.
I mean,
I'm
I'm
wondering if we could
preparing something for next time, and then we can all keep talking about it.
I wonder if we could also, and this is just adding another thing on, but the parking requirement to with that 18 unit cap, I think those might be good to tie together because they both relate to larger multifamily units. But that's also something that the community builders, I noticed when I had a meeting with them the other day, like they are only doing 0.8 spots per unit, which is well under the 2 required currently.
I thought we changed that parking requirement. Hold on, I'm looking.
I think maybe it was 3. Where? Oh, here it is. Wait, is it right here?
8.66.
It's one of the things in the packet.
Yeah, it is still in there. You're right. I thought we had changed it to 1.5 for some reason, or maybe that's what we were hoping for.
I think we were. What section is it? I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. 8.66 on page. Well, it's 32 on mine, but that's
A minimum of 2
20.
parking, shall be required, which may include garages. This is under planned unit residential. Isn't there a requirement under the multifamily housing one too?
I'm just searching by parking, so hang on. I'll see if I can find.
You probably don't have it in your packet, but there is probably a parking schedule.
Because I actually thought that the parking schedule for multifamily was higher than every other parking. It was like
Because it includes visitor spaces.
yeah, so it was like I think it was 1 parking space per bedroom.
At some point, but I thought we changed that. Hold on. I'm in the multifamily section. Let me see.
Northampton doesn't require any parking for their downtown.
I feel like this new building only has 1 per unit.
I feel like there's gotta be a median, right, between like no parking and,
Well, if you have public transportation
well, right in downtown Northampton.
in downtown Easthampton,
Yes, yes,
you
you're right.
have lots of.
Are you talking about 7-6? Or that's off-street parking regulation?
I just recall during the Parsons Village permitting that the amount of parking spaces that were required was like, for an affordable housing development, made no sense. And I think it's in our housing production plan to change it. But I think maybe it's not in,
For Valley, we find it's like a half a space per
per
household.
per unit.
per unit.
Yeah.
That's typical of most of our properties.
Aha. Hold on. So this is weird. On page, it's the 28th page of the document, section 8.335, page 812. So it says, this is under multifamily. To the extent feasible, parking areas shall not be located within front yard and shall be screened from public ways, blah, blah, blah. No parking shall be allowed on interior streets, but it doesn't say how many in that section. And that's the multifamily section.
Maybe they did take it out.
Yeah, I could have swore they had, when we visited over here, they had one parking space per unit.
Maybe it was taken out.
Maybe. I'll keep looking.
All right.
I think you gotta go, I'm gonna go to the full zoning.
Right, because this is just like the
And there's usually
subset.
a parking section that says, for this type of use, you require this many spaces. For this type of use,
Okay.
you require this many spaces.
Well, there's something like that, but it seems to be specific to off-street. Yeah, 7481. On the page that says 7-42. 1.5 per unit. Section 7.481 says number of parking spaces, and then there's a list of off-street regulations.
Oh, this is off street. What is that?
You can't regulate on street because it's a public way.
So I guess
Oh.
that means like driveway or lot, right?
Sorry, I don't,
Means a parking
means
lot,
parking lot. I
basically.
don't know why I was asking that question, sorry.
No, it just did the same thing. That's why I was like, oh wait, never mind.
Okay, so
But then
multifamily housing, one for each dwelling unit in the development.
But this also says maximum.
So if you go to section 10.1 of the zoning, there's off-street parking and loading regulations. Is that what you're looking at?
I think we're looking at section 7 point or table 7.6.
Yeah.
Okay, so 10.1 is the parking for the.
Yeah, I think table 7.6 is maybe just for the smart growth.
That's just for the smart growth. The smart
Oh.
growth is its
Oh,
own
right.
standalone.
Yeah, when I'm looking on my
standalone
little
zoning.
phone, I'm not seeing like
Yeah,
the-
yeah, yeah. So
See,
that's
that
its own
would be like
standalone
one.
zoning that nothing else applies to. So,
Okay. I was like, why would it be maximum?
And how do you get 1.5? I'm confused.
So then you just like multiply it by it's like, so if there's 10 units, you multiply it by 1.5 and you get X
15.
So
15.
for every 2 units, there's 3 spaces.
And then you probably just round up.
Because maybe
Yeah.
one only needs 1, but the next one.
It might need 2.
I see, I get you.
What if we ask Jamie to find that section of the zoning for us?
Jess has located it.
What is it?
10.1.
It's table 10.1?
It's section 10.1 and there's table, can you find the table?
It's 10.3.
Table 10.3?
Yep. table
Yeah.
3.
All right, Shira, I'm going to add that to you to go along with your 18 units per,
Good.
okay?
I'm excited about that. And I'm not lying.
So, yeah,
I'm just really sick of people talking about parking in this town. So I'm
One
excited
per
to
bedroom.
dive into it.
Jess,
Is that where it says
So it's one per
multifamily
bedroom
is
for
one,
each unit plus one additional visitor space for every 10 units in the development.
that's for
You
multifamily.
want to suck up a lot,
One per
you have to provide all of that parking. Like at least provide a waiver. I
Well,
mean, leave the standards, but
right.
give a developer ability to say, I'd like to request a waiver and here's why.
Well, also, but that's for multifamily, but for, what is it for?
For multifamily housing with a 15% affordable units, so 1.5 spaces per unit, this may be reduced to an average of 1 per unit based on the unit mix and project location. That's very squishy.
Jess, can you, for the minute's sake, say what section that's in again?
Sure, it's table 10.3 or 10-3.
Okay. But was there some other number associated with that?
Well, 10.1 is the off-street parking regulations completely.
Great, thank you.
You are welcome, my friend.
Yeah, it's like ridiculous. And you're right, it like sucks up the land. Nobody needs all those parking spaces. People don't have that many cars.
Climate change problem.
We're gonna start just getting picked up by Ubers that drive themselves.
Right. Okay. Does everybody feel good about their assignment?
Someone claimed parking. Sorry.
Shira, I gave it to Shira because the 18
Okay.
unit per building cap was only shows up in one place and feels like, yeah.
That's not why I picked it.
Yeah.
I picked it because I thought it very interesting. You
Yeah.
actually brought it up, I think, in the first time we talked about this. I think it was Ben who brought it up, and I was like, oh, I'm interested in this.
All right. So for our next meeting, which is January something. What? January what? January 25th. Can everybody make it on January 25th? Won't hold you to it, but let's just hope right now.
Probably.
Thursday.
It's a Thursday. My husband is away. That is inconvenient. How would people feel about the 18th instead?
I'm going to the Bruins game that night.
All right. I'll make it work. I will make it work.
The 25th?
Yeah.
Are you sure? I mean,
They're old enough to take care of
Send your kids
themselves.
down to my house.
It's not the kids, it's
The dog.
it's the dog, but also it's the
Bring the dog.
to the building.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dogs
God,
come
she
here.
you would all regret that. Jess has met her. You would all regret that.
You can shut the doors.
It's fine. I will figure it out. But it's only like if somebody has 92 things that they need to be driven to, but I have plenty of other people in my life that can drive for places. So let's just keep it. So I wonder if we should, instead of looking at this subset, should look at the full zoning document in case, so we don't miss anything.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay. Where is it? Is that on somewhere on the planning department website, I assume?
Mhm.
If you Google Easthampton zoning ordinance, it is like the first thing that shows
Okay.
up.
It's
All right.
nice that you can search and find words and find everything.
Do people want it converted to a Word document, or everybody but me is comfortable looking at it in a PDF? I'm old.
if you're doing it anyway, sure.
All right.
Well, it
You don't
depends if we want
You're
to
old.
track
Anna.
them in it and track changes, or
Yep.
do we want to just comment our thoughts, like with like virtual stickies?
You lost me at virtual. No, I'm just kidding.
So here's the thing, if we're looking at the full-on zoning, isn't that like 300 pages?
Probably.
231.
It's only 231, Jackie.
So I think, what if those of us who are assigned to each section come prepared with the relevant things in whatever format works for us to
Great.
start?
Okay.
And
That's
then we can kind of figure out from there what happens next.
Okay. Great. Love it. All right. All right. Come prepared at the next meeting to talk about your things. Okay. And it could be like, what questions? You're stumped. Oh my God, I don't know why I signed up for this section. It comes up 4,000 times. Like, we can work it through to figure out what to do
What do
next.
you think is like we have our sections, what's the approach? Like do research on it, kind of see what the state of the zoning is for that topic, and then maybe see what other towns do.
Yeah, like see how many times it, like, one of the things that I noticed is how inconsistent
Yeah.
the things are from section to section. So like, how many times does it show up and what does it say? And how many different zones does it vary by? And like, maybe there's one section that has like a really good part that we're like, why can't it just be like this in every section?
Yeah.
I don't know. I looked at this, but I did not do like a deep dive in
Yeah.
this document before today. I apologize. But
Well, like you said, it's tough because it's like refer to the thing in this place. And I'm like, I read that, but I don't.
well, and we don't
I
have the
remember
full
what it said.
document either. So we just have like what Jamie thought was the most pertinent sections, which was helpful to get us started.
For sure.
And whatever we can do by the 25th, we do. And then it's just going to take us several months. So it's not like we're going to be done in January.
So I need to go to zoning, the zoning, like on the boards page.
If you just
Google
Easthampton zoning,
ordinance.
PDF will come up. Yeah.
I think it's probably on the planning board page, not on the zoning board page, if I have to guess. All right, it's almost 7. Do we have time to move on for like 2 more quick things?
Yes.
All right. Okay, important thing. Tomorrow is the second CPA meeting to talk about the 2 proposals for affordable housing that are before CPA. $600,000 for the community builders and Kestrel Land Trust to buy the parcel at 385 Main Street. And 1 Ferry Street, I think, is still before them to ask for $100,000 that they need for their project.
Well, their request is for 500. They're asking for 100,000 for redevelopment costs and then $400,000 for construction. Just to be clear.
Okay, so I didn't know that. So they've asked for $500,000 and
1 ferry.
yeah,
Okay. Or 1
1 industrial lofts. And the other request is for 600,000. And so their second meeting is at CPA tomorrow. I cannot go. And none of us went last time.
Oh, no.
I'm going.
Okay, Jana forgot last time to send the email to Dan Rist that I was supposed to send supporting the project until 3 days later. So, which I can do that again. I can remember to do it tomorrow, but if Kayam, you are going? Are you
Yeah.
going? Can you represent the partnership
Are
and
you
the
skipping school?
What?
Are you skipping school to do it?
No,
I
classes
don't
are
have
done.
school.
Classes are over, I think.
Classes ended last Friday.
Mine and this one.
What
Are
what
you
time is it?
It's at 6. Are you speaking in support of it? Kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I'm speaking in support of the community builder project.
It says 6:30 on the thing.
Oh, is it at 6:30? It might be at 6:30. I can't
That's
go
what it
either
says
way.
on the calendar in this room.
Can anyone else go?
I'm gonna be there, but
Maybe.
Kayam, can you speak in support of it from both the partnership and the housing coalition?
Sure. Or I'll get someone else to speak on behalf of the coalition and I'll do the partnership.
I'm going to this is what I didn't do last time. I'm putting it on my calendar right now. I will send an email to Dan in the morning saying that the partnership supports it. But I mean, here's the question to all of you. One Industrial Lofts did not ask us to do anything. So are we only supporting the community builders project? Because that's the only request that we got.
They didn't officially request it, but when I was going through the September meeting minutes that I sent out, they asked for,
A letter.
they did ask for a letter.
I did give them a letter, but that was for their one-stop application.
Okay. Maybe they think.
I can say we support both. I just want to make sure that that's okay with everybody because they didn't ask us about that.
I mean, as long as his plans haven't changed since what he presented us with last time,
No.
I'm in full support.
Yeah.
Sounded great.
Yeah, I mean, I forgot to formally ask for this letter, but I think in general, we're supportive of the
Okay.
project. Yeah.
So I'll send an email to Dan saying that the partnership, so then Kayam, you don't have to, you could do whatever you want to do. that the partnership supports both.
I might try and join remotely. We'll see.
Okay. All right. I put it on my calendar. I won't forget, like I did last time.
What's the name of the community builders project?
385 Main, well, we call it 385 Main Street. I think they have some other,
I think that's what they called it too.
they were calling it Green Easthampton for like a hot second, but I don't think that that's really the name
Well,
of the
that's the Kestrel's
concept.
That's their project. They received funding to find a site that would blend both.
Oh, okay.
And so their Green Easthampton was like their project name for that whole sort of
Thing.
Yeah. The whole
Okay.
And then one industrial is like building 7 or something.
I think so.
Is it, they're gonna have to demolish the old industrial building there? Is that, just because I saw the beautiful renderings and I was like trying to figure out where.
I
it's on
think
that
so.
site.
Yeah.
Okay. That'll be quite the
Yeah.
clean up there. But, yeah.
That's the one that's going to start the soonest though, because they already have their permit. They just have to get their financing.
That could still be like 5 years.
Yeah. It could still be
Well, they
multiple
just
years.
submitted a one-stop application, so they should be hearing pretty soon. Interesting. What I think is interesting is they're trying to do a modular build, to save costs, and
Yeah.
because it's such a tight site, like building walls and pieces
Oh,
off-site
site.
and then bringing them in and constructing it that way. I think, to me, that's
That's pretty neat,
fascinating.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's the reasoning again?
So
It saves cost.
well, it potentially could save costs, but mostly because it's a tight site. So a lot of people who have really tight sites, you don't have like space to stage your construction vehicles or your
Right.
trailer or soil or anything like that. So you build, or supplies, so you build things off-site and then you bring in pieces and then you construct it on the site itself. There's a debate on whether it's
Like
cheaper or not.
building a set in theater.
Yeah.
All right. The last thing that's not on our agenda, but came up today is, I met with the Council on Aging Director, Cindy, and they want to hold a housing forum in April, about housing challenges for seniors. And she wants the partnership to participate. So she's got like a whole plan. It's actually, I mean, she's, talked to Chapa, she's talked to Senator Velas and Representative Carey. She's talked to Wayfinders. She's got a whole bunch of people that she wants to participate. I think she's a little struggling with like exactly what's the angle of the forum. But I think I met with her today and I said that the partnership is always looking for opportunities to educate folks about affordable housing. So like our role could be talking about the housing production plan and talking about, I also, Kaim, I'm going to send her your contact information for the Housing Coalition. But, you know, talking about data and trends and what's happening in Easthampton, and we could talk about what is affordable housing and, but they, you know, her staff were working with seniors who are like really struggling to find affordable housing and really struggling to get access to the housing authority and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I think she's still trying to figure out her angle, but it's on April 8th. It will be during the day, but if anyone wants to mark their calendars, she's thinking like a luncheon somewhere like 11 to 2-ish. Yeah, and she, you know, we could get lunch, but so I put it on my calendar. I think as it gets closer, we'll have more details and figure out exactly what she's looking for from us. But it's always a good opportunity to get in front of people to talk about the issues. Anything else? Kaim, do you have any Housing Coalition updates you want to share? I didn't put that on the agenda. I apologize, but.
I mean, I've been doing a lot of thinking on like doing a more formal structure, like getting a steering committee going, and getting the website up sort of as like goals for the next few months, next quarter, maybe. In our last meeting, we actually had a really cool presentation by Rachana from the Community Builders and Julia. They had a few more updated renderings and like provisional site plans, which was really cool to see. They had updates about the talks that they were engaged in with the town around the public transportation in that area and getting a bus stop put at the foot of the site, which was really cool to see. And she shared her slides. So actually, I'm on my to-do list. I have a follow-up email going out to the EHC people, so I can include you guys on that CC for those slides because they're cool, and they also had their timeline for the next few years as well.
Oh, great. Okay. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. All right. Anything else? Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
All right. All those in favor? Aye. All right. It is 7:06. Meeting adjourned. I'm going to stop the recording.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.